It's been over 2 years since the tragedy occurred on the set of Rust, when Alec Baldwin shot and killed the cinematographer Helena Hutchins and injured the director Joel Souza. And even though he may have thought for a while that he was out of the woods after they decided to not pursue charges, all that changed a little over a month ago when the DA's office decided to refile manslaughter charges against Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin faces up to 18 months in jail in new indictment over Rust shooting. And we just got a big update on this case because the other person that is facing charges, the armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, who seemed incredibly inexperienced, like she never should have been hired for this project, and like she cared more about her OnlyFans than she did about gun safety, has just officially been found guilty of manslaughter as well. Rust armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed guilty of involuntary manslaughter in Alec Baldwin shooting. Now again, we talked a lot about this in the weeks and months following what happened. We started to hear what came out when we heard that there were not a lot of safety precautions that were being taken or upheld on the set, and that really, as the armorer, she should have been at the forefront of a lot of these things. I absolutely think they made the right decision, but it does not mean that Alec Baldwin is off the hook. In fact, some of the things that came up in this trial may indicate that things could get very, very bad for Alec Baldwin in his own manslaughter trial. Let's look at this. Rust armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed guilty of involuntary manslaughter in accidental shooting. Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, the armorer of the ill-fated Western film Rust, was convicted on Wednesday of involuntary manslaughter in the death of the film's cinematographer. Jurors returned the verdict after less than 3 hours of deliberations following 2 weeks of testimony about safety lapses on set. Gutierrez-Reed was acquitted of a separate charge of tampering with evidence. She faces up to 18 months in prison at sentencing, which is expected sometime in April. But one of the things that came up from this, and this probably got around a week or so ago, they showed some of the footage from behind the scenes on the set of Rust. This was to show how things were not being done the right way, and specifically, a lot of things involving Alec Baldwin himself. Video from the Rust movie set raises questions about Alec Baldwin's conduct. And let's watch some of this. This is from an ABC News report.
Producer Alec Baldwin emerging from a wooden shed, firing shots from a pistol.
One more. I forgot to recoil stuff. No, right away. Let's reload. Here we go.
Baldwin appearing to rush the crew to reload for another take. Gutierrez seen quickly approaching, grabbing blanks out of her fanny pack. The prosecution's expert witness, a veteran armorer, reacting to the footage.
That conduct that we're seeing on the part of Mr. Baldwin, is that typical conduct from an actor on a movie set?
No.
Why not?
Well, number one, he's basically instructing the armorer how to do their job at that point. This is that moment that you need to stop and say, no, I'm not going to hurry up. I'm going to slow down.
Baldwin.
And they go more into some of the other behind-the-scenes stuff as well and describing exactly what happened, which we've talked about in great detail before. There were a lot of other things, like clearly this person whose dad was like a famous armorer, she should not have had this job. She was using the wrong terms and phrases to refer to different things as well throughout this. She absolutely was responsible in part for this. She's the reason why a live bullet ended up there. But that doesn't mean that all of a sudden Alec Baldwin is just free and clear. There can be more than one person responsible for this, and especially with some of the things that came out in some of those behind the scenes in terms of Alec Baldwin trying to rush everybody, order everybody around, the reports of him skipping out on some of the training as well, and of course the fact that he is the one that pulled the trigger, regardless of the lies that he told, both to the police and on air in that interview right after with George Stephanopoulos. He absolutely pulled the trigger. That's the only way that gun could have fired, whether it was to actually pull the trigger or whether he pulled the trigger while he was attempting to decock the gun. Does not look good for Alec Baldwin when his trial starts in New Mexico. But for right now, we know at least one person, the armorer, is found guilty of manslaughter. Alec Baldwin's trial still on the way. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.